Okay, hey, I know it's been a while and I've had a lot going on and my mom's still in the nursing home and I had my colonoscopy and there were some people who wanted some updates about that. But I'm going to talk about all of those things a bit later. I thought I would um, throw a fun curveball tonight before I did though. Um, just want to see if anybody's there yet. Um, it does not look like anybody is there yet, but we'll see if somebody comes. Okay. Um, I am kind of running out of space on my hard disk. I have 33 gigabytes left out of 237 gigabytes. And so I wanted to clear off some space. So one of the things I decided to do is I'm going to make a series of videos where I upload the footage from the VHS tapes recorded when I was a kid in the 90s. I've already uploaded one of those, the 1999 Regional Spelling Bee. Um, because I don't have a great deal of time tonight, I've decided to show one of the shorter videos this time. This is a 3.5 minute video recorded by Blockbuster Video of all people, and I will explain this. Um, okay, in the year 1991, this is an article from the South Florida Sun Sentinel, was the fastest thing I found. Blockbuster launching Kidprint taping service August 24th, 1991. Blockbuster Entertainment will launch a long-term nationwide videotaping service next week designed to help find missing children, a Blockbuster spokesman said on Friday. The program, Kidprint, will take place throughout most of Blockbuster's 1,935 company and franchise-owned video stores. Fort Lauderdale-based Blockbuster offered the Kidprint service for a month last August on a trial basis in 1,300 Blockbuster video stores. The videotapes, which record a child's mannerisms and other traits, could assist investigators in identifying the child if he or she is missing. Parents keep the tapes. Wally Neef, a company spokesman, said Blockbuster expects most of the Blockbuster video stores in the nation to participate in the program. The hours of the service will be the same as the individual video store hours. Neef said parents who bring their own videotape to a Blockbuster store can have the service done for free. If they buy a tape at the store, net proceeds from the sale go to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. John Walsh, host of America's Most Wanted, is scheduled to speak at the announcement on Tuesday. Walsh is the father of Adam Walsh, 6, who was murdered 10 years ago after he was abducted from a Hollywood mall. And I have one of these from the year 1993. I have no idea when Blockbuster stopped doing these, but I thought this would be a fun bit of arcana and a bit different from both what I normally upload and even a lot of the nostalgia uploads I see. This is sort of its own weird thing, so I thought this would be a fun place to start. And it's only 3.5 minutes, but I'm going to snark my way through it like it's an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000 or something. Um, Alright, and there is almost nobody watching, but we'll see if I get anybody because this is something different and unique for me. Um, okay. Um, so many, so many videos, and I know I saved like every little bit of video snippet that I recorded for all like my maladroit millennial videos years ago. I'm gonna want and end all the this day in typing histories which I abandoned, but I'm going to want to delete all these to free up hard disk space. Although I'll probably save the home videos and delete everything else. But all right, I know these were recorded in 2022. Just gotta see. Oh, right, I already had it up. I forgot. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
August 21st, 1993. I was 8 years and just under 5 months old at the time. Oh, it's right up there. Okay.
So I got the sign if you want to put it down.
Now you can ask me anything you want.
How was I so boisterous and effervescent and full of life? Probably because I wasn't jaded enough to see life's hardships. Well, I had seen some of life's hardships. I mean, my parents had already divorced and separated. My mom was disabled with multiple sclerosis, and she um, basically had no money for an entire year after my parents split until she finally got her disability money. She was finally declared disabled. I was just off in my own little world, which I guess autism, and how could anybody not have seen it?
If you're 8 years old, what grade are you going into?
I'm going into third.
Third grade? Do you know who your teacher's going to be?
Someone named Mrs. Chapman.
Oh yeah? What school do you go to?
Smith Road Elementary.
I don't even care if I'm doxing anything here at all. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm so lonely I'd want to be visited almost.
Oh, is that a pretty nice school?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah? What's your favorite?
No, it wasn't. Not really. I mean, the cafeteria roof collapsed once because we had like four of the snowiest winters in Syracuse history in like a 6-year time span, and the roof of the cafeteria collapsed, and we were um, eating in our classrooms the entire fourth grade year. In retrospect, I don't think my school district was very good. It was the worst of the suburban school districts in terms of performance, which made me think I was more of a genius than I ever really was. Um,
Thing about school? Do you have something you really like that you did in school last year?
Thursday's my favorite school day.
Yeah? What happens on Thursdays?
Well, in 93 for a while it was pizza day. I got music. It was just a wonderful day.
Yeah?
Most of them were wonderful days.
God, this is embarrassing. And yes, my diet never really improved, I guess. At least I'm not obese.
You're a doll. So your name's Sean. Do you have a middle name?
Yes, I do.
What's
Padric. P-A-D-R-A-I-C.
P-A-D?
R-A-I-C. My mom and dad named me something Irish, so it was kind of hard to spell.
Huh.
As if I'm auditioning for a spelling bee several years early.
So it's P-A-D like dog?
Right.
Well, that's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh. Do you have any pets at your house?
Actually, my parents are divorced. Dad doesn't have any, but Mom has a cat, Bobcat, and used to have a fish, Margie fish, after one of Kathy's friends. And Bobcat almost so.
Oh yes, I used to always call my parents by their first name. I don't know when I stopped, but for almost my entire childhood I did that. And yes, I indeed named my mom's goldfish after one of her friends. My mom used to ride along with a couple members of a local Syracuse progressive rock band in the early 80s. They did covers of Genesis Russian Police songs. They were called Air, spelled A-I-R-E, and um, it was connected with Onondaga Community College to some extent, where my mom worked and was the music secretary. And My mom dated both the keyboardist and the drummer of this band at different times, and she also helped organize a lot of their touring and engagements and stuff. They once had one of their songs, I believe, performed on Good Morning America. Um, my mom dating these people was sort of independent of the band actually, and the keyboardist of this band was also worked at the Syracuse University bookstore with my dad. My dad was a college dropout, and the keyboardist of this band um, went on to like a community college, not Syracuse University, but they did work at the SU bookstore, and that is, I guess, how my parents met. They met at an anti-nuclear missile rally a couple of years before I was born, and one of the other members of the band, who was nicknamed Bones, he was the singer. Margie, who the goldfish was named after, was her wife. I had none of that context. I had no idea who Margie was or who any of these band people were then. I learned all that later. Oh, the video is too loud. See if I can turn the volume down. Okay. Yeah, I probably can. There we go. Only a minute and a half anyway. Oh, it's not YouTube. You have to play this.
From Sesame Street a couple years ago.
So the cat's name was Bob?
Yeah.
That's pretty cute, isn't it?
Yeah. My mom thought so. At first I wanted to name him Robert, but then I wanted to name him a people name, but then I just shortened it to Bob, and I didn't realize there was such a thing as a bobcat.
Yeah.
8-year-olds these days are so much smarter. Yes, I named this cat Bob, and he died only a couple months after that because my mom used to have home health aides to help run errands, do groceries, clean and stuff because she was not able to physically do it throughout my childhood. And the cat bit one of my mom's home health aides at the time, and she forced my mom basically to have it tested for rabies, and so he had to be put down. The next cats we got the following summer, Sis and Tom. I kept naming cats after people names after types of cats, so Bobcat, Tomcat, and my mom was dating a guy named Tom that year in '94 and a few years afterward, and of course her boyfriend thought I named the cat after him. I did not, although I think I named him right about the time they started dating, so I can see why he thought that.
That's pretty funny, really. When you said a bobcat, I'm thinking, what? So Margie's a funny name, too.
I know, Margie died a few months ago.
Oh, no. So Margie was a fish?
Yes.
I'm trying to see what's written on this shirt, but I really can't.
Oh, yeah.
Video, other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I'm looking at my dad now.
What's your favorite,
I wish I had this kind of joy or exuberance about anything now. Oh, still way too loud. The thing is, the interviewer is a lot louder than I am, so I think you might not be able to hear me, even if the interviewer's voice is at a better volume. Well, I keep clicking on it like it's YouTube.
thing to do, Sean?
Hugging my favorite stuffed animal, orange dog.
Orange dog?
Yeah.
So what is it, an orange stuffed animal?
Orange, white, black, and red.
That's your favorite thing to do? What was
Yes, I had a large collection of stuffed animals. No, I was not. No, I was not a furry. I mean, I didn't think of. I didn't think of anything sexual whatsoever then. I probably didn't even know what sex was. It was a much more innocent time.
the thing you enjoyed most this summer?
I really stay inside a lot of the time, so I wouldn't really want to share my secrets.
Oh, you don't have to share your secrets. That's okay.
Nowadays, people would think I was looking at porn again, a more innocent time. I would have had no idea what porn was. I've still never looked at any porn.
Okay, honey, you are done.
That was pretty bad, but it was a huge. That was a time. Bram Stoker's Dracula. All right, I guess they had like a trailer or something that recorded over. Oh, whoops, opened the wrong one. Um, yeah, no need to moderate anything. Almost nobody is watching. Um, yeah, that was the first such video. I do have more. Um, I ha I have a video of a trip I had to Washington, D.C., which is the biggest one. An hour of my mom, her brother, one of the members of my brother's cult, and I walking around various Washington, D.C. landmarks. We visited the Air and Space Museum. I think that's like most of the video. And I have a couple videos from when I was, there was one when I was 4 and in preschool. There was a video that my parents recorded when I was 6. I think a couple, one of just family time, one from Christmas of 1991 when my mom's brother came up, one where they took a little video of me typing. That footage isn't great. And there's, I think the next one I'm going to show might be from 2002 when I appeared on Syracuse's local ABC affiliate on their morning show for a website I made to search for lost pets. Anyway, back in the 90s, one of the big obsessions, as you can see there, was lost children. I guess that's come back with all the people freaking out about grooming and child trafficking or whatever. I mean, I know that's a thing that isn't my demographic at all as a socially centrist economic leftist, but I mean, I know it's a thing that exists and people are obsessed about. But I mean, back in those days, there was a thing where pictures of missing children always appeared on the backs of milk cartons to try and find them. It was a weird kind of gimmicky thing, but I guess it did work, and this was like an obsession in the culture at the time. Like around the same time was the Soul Asylum runaway train video that had pictures of lost children and aimed to reunite them with their parents, even though that's not what the song was about at all. And apparently some of the kids that were featured in that video did not want to be found. But that was a weird childhood obsession that I don't even think most people who remember the 90s talk about now, but I thought that was an interestingly quirky thing to share with you. And okay, I want to talk about what's happened in recent months as well. My mom is still in the nursing home. I have been trying to get her out. I mean, I'm sure you'll still see that there is clutter here, and there is still some clutter, but I cleaned out the house to the village of North Syracuse's satisfaction in the month of March, and they were willing to say that I had cleared enough paths, although I contacted PayCNY, a company that does in-home care, to see if my mom would be allowed to come home, and they said she would not be because they claimed that my rugs apparently have bed bugs in them, and I do not believe that they actually have bed bugs. Yes, they are dirty. I don't think I even have a vacuum cleaner that works because the vacuum cleaner I have, like you turn it on and it gets smoky after a bit. I probably should have thrown it out, but I don't think I have bed bugs or anything like that, even though the rug certainly is dirty and my mom certainly did hoard, and there are things to be concerned about in that regard. I mean, it embarrasses me like how close I am to Asmongold sometimes in my lifestyle crap. Like, there was one time I found, there was one time I found I think two times I found dead mice in my mom's watering can. Unlike Asmongold, however, I instantly threw them out when I saw it within minutes. It's not like I had it rotting on alongside my bed like he did, but I have still never been great at handling the basic things at life, so obsessed on my various projects and stuff. And I know that's an autistic thing, and my mom had no complaints about how I was taking care of her until she went into the nursing home. Whenever she I always had the intercom running so I could hear whenever she wanted me to find something, pick up something, feed her, give her a beverage, find her cane, find her rosary, find a picture of one of our cats that she cherished, read to her. There were lots of things I was doing, and I've thought about applying for an in-home for an exemption as an in-home caretaker to try to prevent my house from being taken by Medicaid. I don't think that's going to happen, even though I was there for her whenever she needed. I helped her up when she was falling. I helped her stand up when she was leaving the bathroom or leaving the couch or whatever. I was doing an awful lot. Um, I mean, some of the filth was from my mom's hoarding, and anytime I would try to challenge my mom's hoarding and tell her to throw something out, she had too much stuff. Tell her to throw something out, she'd like scream at me and say, "How would you feel if I threw the computer out?" You know, to be honest, if it was after I finished my current book, the second book I am working on, I almost don't even care to have a computer again after that. I want to get offline, I think. I mean, I would obviously change my tune on that if my writing ever took off and I was making a living from that, or if my YouTube channel took off and I was making a living from that. But I am so sick of I am so sick of online culture, online everything. I do still love making my own content. I get really off on it. I love creating things, but I'm I mean part of it's probably because of my mom's hoarding. I've really lost my desire towards any consumerism. I will answer your questions after I'm done with the baseline stuff. My mom is still in the nursing home, and I said that PayCNY won't let her come back because they are saying the floor is too dirty with bed bugs. I do not think the floor has bed bugs, but there's no way I can prove it, I guess. And also we have a leaky roof, and there are concerns about that. The roof has been leaking for a few years. I've always had these various unemployed, underemployed, various gig jobs. I was kind of living off my mom's Social Security. I mean, I had various jobs. They weren't enough to live off of. Now, I got more serious once my mom was in the nursing home, and obviously, I didn't have to focus as much on taking care of everything she needed once she was in there. So I was able to start seeking out more jobs, and I maintained the job I have for Rotoballer, writing fantasy sports slash gambling previews for for that website, and I thought I would do this now this weekend because the NASCAR season ended last weekend, so I didn't have to do any columns this week. I've written like 1,200 columns for the site, and I do not make much. I think it's like $2 per column or something, but um also, I once again relaunched my Substack, seanrona.substack.com, where I am doing research for my second book, ranking the 1,000 greatest drivers in auto racing history. I have a document here, a Google Sheet, um, top 1,000 drivers list where I'm going through every driver. The ones I've gone through are in bold, and I have a I have a formula for how many points each driver gets for each year. I mean, it's more of an art than a science determining what grades to give each driver for each year. But I have a list of 713 drivers who are locks, 253 on my bubble, some of whom I think I'm not going to include, and then I have to decide who to fill the list out with. But I went through all my bubble drivers right here, and right now I'm going through every series. I just finished my NASCAR year in review here, and that is I've made all my things paywalled again. I'm not sure how many of you are into racing at all. Probably very few. You're into typing. I mean, I said I was probably going to be making typing content on there, but I haven't yet. I'm typed out. I don't really want to talk about typing anymore. And I also have two more things besides that. I've been doing data entry for um, Sports Data Research, a sports archive site that consults with a lot of professional sports agencies. Like they probably feed data to ESPN or whatever. And I've been entering um, college basketball results for every team through the 1998-99 season. I do about one a day. It takes me about 4 hours, and then I have another assignment, um, a variety of assignments for a competitive typist, well, an ex-competitive typist who is also a serial tech entrepreneur. Gives me occasional uh, work that I've all sorts of varied assignments that I've been working on and going through. And between those four things, I am making enough money to pay my mom's mortgage. Ever since she was admitted into the nursing home, Medicaid has been taking all but $50 um, out of her Social Security. So I'm I'm allowed to withdraw $50 from that, and then I do that and deposit in her bank account to cover her three life insurance policies, which are the only things being automatically deducted from there now. And and I am now making enough money to um, pay my mom's mortgage bill and the electric and phone and internet bills, and for my groceries, and I am not buying much in the way of groceries at all. So I am I am out of the gutter now. I am not completely broke now. I bottomed out and I'm starting to recover from that as far as that goes. Now, can I afford a roof repair? No, I'm going to have to, I guess, get some kind of emergency loan after I've gotten some kind of assessment. And I did have my assessment for a roof repair last week, but I don't know what the estimate is going to be yet, and I'm probably not going to be able to afford that in any way, shape, or form. And I'm glad these are all work from home things too. I honestly want to be working in an office because I am so damn lonely. I I I desperately want people to talk to in real life, and every time I try, I fail. However, I want to visit my mom too, and there is no bus out of the village of North Syracuse except on weekdays, so it has to be Monday through Friday, and it has to be like working hours. So if I was trying to get an office hour, there's like probably no office hours. There's probably like no way I could visit my mom much at all, and I have been wanting to visit her on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I used to try to go in every day, but trying to balance my work and all the things I'm doing with that, I think it has to be every 3 days now. But I've been coming in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and trying to call all the other days. Now, I'm struggling more and more with that even because my mom's vision has failed. I think she has cataracts. She doesn't want cataract surgery, and as a result, she can hardly see anything. She also, whenever the phone rings, she thinks she has to pick it up. She grew up when phone calls were normal, even before she grew up even before answering machines. So, um, back then it was like expected. Everybody picks up the phone as soon as it rings, as opposed to now when everybody ignores all calls. And honestly, I like the earlier paradigm better because people were so much more social when people called each other on the phone than when they used phones just to consume things, just to consume content, which I find invariably depressing. I mean, every year it seems we went from one more antisocial way of um, talking to people to another, like going from live conversations to community events to phone calls to AOL Instant Messenger to Live Journal or whatever to Facebook to Twitter to I mean it's like every step was more antisocial than the one before. I do think Discord was a step back from that a little. I think Discord is probably the most social of the mainstream platforms right now, which is obviously why it blew up big, but obviously it also has this gamer aesthetic to it where it's like the best place to socialize online, but the only people who use it are people who aren't good at socializing in general, myself included. So it's still depressing, and I've been trying to find community in real life. And that's one of the things I've really been enjoying about visiting my mom all the times I have been visiting my mom because there is so much community there. I mean, it's a bad nursing home. It's been investigated for neglecting patients and stuff, and there were people who were there. Even one of the days I was visiting, investigating the conditions, the living conditions there. But I mean, there are so many community events. Like 2 or 3 times a week, there's a concert. They have bingo. Last week they had art instructions. They have occasional music instructions, music listening hours, happy hours, um, prayer circles, so many things for social engagement. I envy it. I envy that. I the funny thing is, the irony is, my mom told me all throughout my childhood, like for 30 years, she'd rather be dead than in a nursing home, and and I took that seriously. I didn't think it was even possible for Adult Protective Services to force her into a nursing home. I didn't know that was something I could do. I was so ignorant even for how old and smart I supposedly was. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. But and so I'm trying to get her out. But the thing is, I kind of feel like I wouldn't mind living there myself because there are so many things to do, people to engage with, and I've talked with the nurses and stuff. I've talked with some of the other patients. I mean, it can be lonely to be there by yourself. And one of the things that's really miserable is my mom's first roommate, who was nice, Susan Mintanya. Um, she died. She died in August. She was having trouble breathing for some months, but she and I really struck up a rapport, and um, she helped convince me to go through with the colonoscopy when I was terrified by that. I never saw her again afterward because I think she was taken to the hospital a couple days before my colonoscopy and died a couple days after it. But she was nice, but the person who replaced her has been awful. My mom's new roommate, she doesn't want to interact with anyone at all, but she's always there, and and what was annoying about both of them, admittedly, is there is one TV in the room, and it is not on my mom's side, it is on the other side, so the other patient has total control over the television, and they both left it on all the time. Now, Susan left it on pretty quietly, so it wasn't that annoying, but my mom's current roommate uh, leaves it on way louder most of the time, and you can barely hear anything in there, and it's really annoying when you um, want peace and quiet. She also listens to a lot more obnoxious stuff like the 700 Club or um, these various History Channel quote unquote documentaries about ancient astronaut theorists, people people who believe that there were aliens who aliens who built the pyramids or whatever or interacted with humans in the ancient world, and this is on the History Channel like it's real history and not pseudo-scientific garbage. Um, and also, like, my one of the things I like doing all the days I visit my mom is reading to her. I try to read to her both readings. She has a missal with various Bible readings, and I've been reading her various books. I read her from a biography of Leonard Cohen, and then since then I've been reading books from a mystery series by Rita Mae Brown that she liked a lot, and my mom's roommate has been trying to get me shut up and doesn't like me reading to her, and at times has tried to force me to leave, like you are dismissed and stuff. She always has a curtain between the rooms. She's even peed on the floors and stuff, and like even my mom's housekeeper when I was there, um, the housekeeper for her room called my mom's roommate evil in front of all of us, and I can't say I really disagreed much. Now, I mentioned in that um, Man-Child in Exile post in March or April or whenever I wrote that on my Substack, and then um, did a video essay of it here. I then hid that video because that's something I did not want being broadcast forever in eternity. But in that post, I mentioned that my mom and I had been fighting about politics. She had been saying a lot of racist things. She's been a lot more lovely and likable since she was in the nursing home. Like, she was listening to the radio nonstop. Now she doesn't want to listen to anything, probably because my mom's roommates have had the TV on nonstop, and it's often annoying. But mom hasn't wanted to listen to anything, so she's finally disengaged politically. She hasn't been saying nasty stuff. She hasn't been saying slurs like she had gotten to do, which was very unlike her. Now I know part of that may have been due to decreased cognition. I know most liberals would say there's no excuse for that under any circumstances, and I don't disagree. And I yelled at her for it all the time. We had lots of fights, but she doesn't have the energy to work up about a lot of things. She hasn't even been fighting as hard as I thought she would to get out, although I am still fighting hard to get her out. But she's been a lot more pleasant. I've been loving her up as much as I can, and we both apologized to each other for the nasty things we've said to each other. So we are going to have closure here. Whenever she does die, we'll have had closure, and I'll be more at peace than I probably could have been otherwise. So that's good. And also, I was told that I would need to have a ramp constructed to get into her front door. That is another thing that is going to have to be done for her to be allowed to come home. And I wish somebody had told me that months ago, because if somebody had told me that months ago, I would have applied for it months ago. But I ended up only applying for it like a week or two ago, because nobody told me until about a month ago that until the woman from PayCNY, who also claimed we have bed bugs, but I don't think we have bed bugs, but told me that there needed to be a ramp also. So I applied to two different places to see if somebody will construct a ramp, and I haven't heard back from either of them yet. And that whole ramp process, it took me like a month to even finish that form, because in the middle of all that, when all I had to do was get documentation from the nurse stating why she needed a ramp. Well, it took like a week to hear back from the nurse, and then I got sick. I probably caught something at the nursing home. That was a couple weeks ago, and I had a fever of 101.6 degrees, the highest fever I have had in my adulthood, the highest fever I can ever even remember. So obviously, if I was that sick, I could not come back home. I was paranoid, petrified. I guess I was combining paranoid and petrified there, and it came out tetrified. But I was petrified that my mom caught it from me, because I was like petting her and hugging her and stuff like the day came before I came down from it. But somehow it seems like she didn't catch what I had. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was something bacterial and not viral that you couldn't catch. I know I had one of the worst stomach aches of my life on Sunday, the day before I came in, and I thought that was just an irritable bowel syndrome thing, because my bowels are totally out of control now. But it wasn't. It was I guess this illness, but I guess my mom didn't catch it. I mean, she she had a urinary tract infection the week before and had to go into the hospital again, but that was healed, and my mom was really sick that week, but it was apparently more because she was dehydrated than because she caught something from me. Apparently she didn't catch it, so that was good. I still have a lingering cough from whatever this was a couple weeks ago. I'm still not really better, but I wanted to tell you how I was doing. And then finally, the colonoscopy. Okay. I was wanting to do the colonoscopy um, without anesthetic, because I was paranoid I was going to react to the anesthetic. I had a history of reacting to everything when I was a child. Like, I reacted to every single antibiotic usually getting rashes, except one which was called C-chlor. I mean, I know that's probably an autism symptom, being overly reactive to various medications, but that's something I had, and I was worried that something would happen after the anesthetic. Nothing happened, it was fine. And then I had my follow-up appointment for the colonoscopy about 3 weeks later at the end of August. The day before, I had I had a pretty big abdominal pain, and I visited my mom that day, and I walked to the emergency room, which was the next parking lot over at the hospital that was basically next door to the nursing home, upstate hospital, because I was paranoid, like the hypochondriac I guess I sometimes am, that I had appendicitis, because the place where I was feeling the abdominal pain was in the bottom right section. But I mean, I didn't have any of the other symptoms. I wasn't vomiting. I wasn't having trouble eating. I the pain was localized, but it didn't like move from the center of my stomach to the bottom right. There were all these tests you could do where you hit on your stomach, and if you feel pain when you do that. I didn't feel pain doing that. I mean, I figured out I didn't have appendicitis, and I left before I was really seen, because I wanted to make sure I had some sleep so I could get to my follow-up appointment the next day. And I was told by the gastroenterologist that she didn't think I had any sort of appendicitis at all, and nor did I, and that she thought and I had no colon cancer, no no Crohn's disease, no ulcerative colitis, none of those things. It literally was just irritable bowel syndrome, and she was saying the reason I felt all that pain the day before was probably because I had so much. I did have a large backup of poop in me before it was drained out, when I took the colonoscopy fluid, and apparently my gastroenterologist said that, all I was feeling is that there was a new buildup of poop that had developed there, and was causing me pain, because there was poop there when there hadn't been poop there the day before or whatever. And I was told I wouldn't need to have another colonoscopy again in the last 10 years. I was prescribed Metamucil, and I have been taking the Metamucil, although I am still having diarrhea constantly every day now. I mean, I never fixed my diet. It is several decades past time to fix my diet and learn how to eat produce. Okay, I eat bananas, I eat almonds, I eat um applesauce, but like those are the only things I eat at all. I guess maybe oatmeal isn't horrible, although it is processed kind of oatmeal, not genuine oatmeal, and everything I eat is carb shit, and I have a gag reflex anytime I try to eat like most kinds of produce except for bananas. Um, if I had more people to talk to in real life, how much happier do I think that would make me? Oh, at least 2 or 3 times as happy. I mean, I've been trying. I'm 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 like usually a lapsed Catholic. I was confirmed in the Catholic Church in 2005. I had my first communion and penance in 1993. I was confirmed in the Catholic Church in 2005 while I was at Cornell. They have a Cornell Catholic community there, and after I became a total social reject in college, which I never really was in high school, weirdly, I had friends and I had fans. I mean, my fans weren't really friends, but there were people who used to like to follow me around in between classes in high school, who would like ask me to solve arithmetic problems for them, and I would usually answer them before they had finished entering them into the calculator, or people who like watching me type. That was a thing too sometimes. Although I got more praise for my um, rapid arithmetic abilities than my typing, even though I was far more elite in typing than I was in arithmetic or math. I mean, certainly at the level of my high school, I was elite, but not compared to MIT postdocs or whatever. So yeah, I didn't go to mass the 2 weeks I was sick, but I did go again for the Saturday vigil yesterday, and I stopped going to the Wednesday trivia sessions. I mean, there was one. I I, I, I I talked to the bartender some, and there was one of the other players I talked to, but I ended up feeling even lonelier there than I was just doing stuff at home. Like I'm engrossed in one of my projects at home, like entering these massive amounts of data for my auto racing statistical project. I tend to be happier than when I'm alone in a crowd. If there were people I was talking to, that would be good. And there are people who often do talk to me while I'm at the nursing home. So I'm getting most of what I want out of that, I guess. I talk to the nurses and stuff. I've talked to the cleaning people. I've talked to my mom and some of the other patients. My mom's roommate doesn't want to talk to either of us. That's fine. That's her prerogative. Um, but I do have people to talk to, and I've been enjoying the social engagements. I've been enjoying taking my mom to all these concerts they have at the campus at the nursing home. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to live there myself because there's so much to do. I mean, I know, I know this is a thing. The senior community centers, and they've always existed. Although from what I've read, boomers don't use them as much as earlier generations do. I mean, their generation was really the start of people withdrawing from society, which every generation withdrew even more and got more individualistic since then. But I mean, I'm 40 and a half years old now. I know there are a lot of senior apartments for people who are 50 or 55 years old or older who that cost significantly less than regular apartments do, and because they they all have these social aspects to them, they're better in that regard as well. I can't wait until I'm old enough to live in a senior apartment, and I'm kind of getting there. But and I know I am going to lose my house now. I mean, I was taking care of my mom. I know some people would say I was probably neglecting because of the filth, but I mean, yes, some of the filth was maybe me not doing enough, but a lot of the filth was my mom hoarding things and not letting me get rid of anything. So that was not that was not entirely my fault. I was trying to push her to get rid of things, and she hoarded a lot, and that is where a lot of the filth was from. And I have worked on it in the past 6 months and gotten a lot of that down and made a lot of clearer paths. So hopefully I'm not as degenerate as Asmongold is. Although I although at least he was making money with all the obsessive things he was doing. I like I was like always in this threshold where I was too autistic, too disabled to ever get steady professional office job, but not autistic enough to be considered disabled or eligible for disability payments myself. And I can see it's why the high functioning autistics, or I guess level 1 autistics now, I mean, I was formally diagnosed with Asperger's in 2014, but that was the year after Asperger's no longer existed. Even psychologists can't keep up with the latest jargon necessarily, but I guess it would be level 1 autism right now. I mean, I feel lately, especially with all the diarrhea I'm having, I may be like lower functioning than that at this point. I might have gone up to level 2, regressed or something. I don't know if you can move between the levels or not. I mean, this whole level thing happened, I think, after I was diagnosed, so, um, I mean, there's a part of me that would kind of want to live in a group home, but I know I'm not autistic. I'm too high functioning. I'm not disabled enough for that. But yeah, I'm desperate for people to talk to. But I haven't really found it at church. I haven't really found it at bar trivia either. I have kind of found it at the nursing home. I like talking to the nurses there. And the cleaning people, the people at the cafeteria, some of the other patients. I am getting social things out of that. I like visiting her, and so that's mainly where my social contact is going these days. If I'm not going to be in the nursing home, I would rather just be at home and work on my own projects, get my own get my own writing done, make some Substack posts and try to grow that. Um, I mean, I do have like 48 subscribers on Substack and 14 or 15 paid ones. It's sort of like my YouTube channel where, yeah, it's definitely gotten some traction. It's like about $1,000 a year. That's more than most people are probably getting from something like that, but not enough. But not enough for a living. But the dribs and drabs of things I'm getting combined are, I mean, not enough for a roof repair, but yeah, I I don't know what I'm looking for socially as far as my peers. It seemed like I always got along better with both much older or much younger. Um, uh, okay, hold on. I know this is probably a shitty thing to say to someone who doesn't have anyone to talk to in real life, but as someone who does, I believe it's important not to overestimate the positive impact that may have. Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I've been reading all the I've been reading all these political or just psychological books on socialization and stuff, and um like I told you how obsessed with Robert Putnam's Bowling Alone I was. I would still call that my favorite book of all time, although the book he wrote after that, The Upswing, is in the same league. I loved that one too, which he just released, about how social cohesion basically broke down in every realm, the economic realm, the political realm, the social realm, and I don't remember what the fourth was, but how people steadily got um, less individualistic and more communal between like 1890 and 1960, and how social cohesion has generally broken down since about 1960. That book is amazing, and I highly recommend it. I also was reading in a book I bought at the thrift store a couple months ago, by Daniel Goleman. His Emotional Intelligence is considered a classic. That was sort of a follow-up, Social Intelligence, and there's some quote in there about how not having any social connections is as deadly as being a pack-a-day smoker or something. And yet my generation and Gen X, I maybe even more, like they they properly demonized cigarette smoking, but didn't demonize the withdrawal of people from social life, which I think was more serious than smoking was, especially because like uh, smoking and drinking hurt people, sure, but at least they provided social opportunities for people as well, and just withdrawing from those things increasingly led to people just consuming content alone by themselves, and somehow I think that's even more degenerate and guilty. I mean, it's not like I wasn't among them consuming content. At least I also make my own content too, and I make good content. I make high quality content. I'm a good writer. I'm not good at art or anything. I'm not good at design or like YouTube thumbnails, but at least I have resisted the temptation to have AI make any of these things for me. Um, I did I did get a Chat GPT subscription recently for one of my jobs because my boss is way into it more than I am. And I did use it for some things. I used it to automate some of my code so I would be able to update my open wheel and stock car models faster. Like after I had AI write a program for me, I can now update open my stock car model in 7 minutes and my open wheel model in about 17 minutes, and it used to take me like 3 hours to update both of those manually. So it's not like I'm one of those people who believes AI is completely worthless. I would not use it to write for me or create art for me. And obviously I made those models myself. They were my own creation. I just had it help me with some of the code that I should have bothered to learn and never did. I never really wanted to be a programmer in the first place either. I didn't really want to like create any of the tools that are causing people to withdraw from interacting from each other in real life, and it seems to be like those are the only things that make any sort of money online. I mean, I get why people are nostalgic for things like shopping malls, video arcades, Blockbuster video. I mean, I have nostalgia for those things kind of, even though I didn't like any of them very much. Those those were commercial enterprises, and you can't expect perfect socialization from something designed to maximize profits by any means. But at least those were places in the real world where people congregated. At least Blockbuster was better than Netflix, and video arcades were better than online gaming, and malls were better than Amazon because at least people interacted with people in the real world. It's become an obsession for me. But I mean, I didn't really find what I was looking for either in church, although I'm going to keep going, or in the bar trivia, which was almost the complete opposite. And I don't know what I'm looking for. Well, I do know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some kind of support group. What I want is like some equivalent of Alcoholics Anonymous, but for autistic people. I want to talk to other autistic people. I want to help other autistic people. I want to start. Back in the 90s, my mom, for a couple of years, around right before my parents separated, my mom ran the Epilepsy Association of Central New York. Her multiple sclerosis gave her epilepsy for a few years. The epilepsy entirely healed, the MS didn't, but she ran the Epilepsy Association, and she always cared about helping the disabled. And then when she got too sick to do it anymore, especially after my parents divorced and my dad was vice president of the group, she got too sick to do any of it anymore and had to give it up. And the people who took it over like tanked the group in like a month or two. Um, but I kind of want to start some support group to help adult autistics eventually. I want to finish my second book first. That's what I want to do first. And obviously I still want to visit mom, want to take care of mom and do all my other jobs. But after I finish my book on the 1,000 Greatest Drivers, which I think I'm going to in about 2028, that's when I would estimate that I'll be done. Um, then I think I want to start a support group for adult autistics. There are so many things for childhood autistics. And I have nothing against that. Children need support groups. I had lots of support when I was a child. I mean, I have no idea how they didn't properly diagnose me with autism when I was in elementary school. I mean, yeah, I know why, because I grew up right after Rain Man came out, and that movie created the impression that you were only autistic if you were at the level of institutionalization as the Dustin Hoffman character in that movie. I don't hate Rain Man. I know a lot of autistic people hate it for the images it created. It's a good movie. It probably did not deserve to be Best Picture because it has that cheesy, very special element, disease of the week attitude to it. But it's certainly very well made. Not my favorite from any of them. My favorite Dustin Hoffman and Barry Levinson movie is Wag the Dog. My favorite Tom Cruise is Born on the 4th of July. But it was good. But the movie did create an impression that if you weren't at the level of institutionalization, you weren't autistic. So while I got tested for hyperactivity, again, I think it had already been combined to ADHD at that point, but again, a lot of psychologists are behind. Syracuse is like kind of backwater boonies in the middle of nowhere, and I don't think people in Syracuse even knew that ADD and hyperactivity had been combined by then. I was tested for hyperactivity as a kid, and I was told I did not have it. I mean, I could be ADHD, it's possible, but I don't really think so. I don't know how they all missed on the autism though, unless people assumed you were only autistic if you were at the level of institutionalization. But I still got a lot of support back then, and like I was in every special ed course that my elementary school had. I rode a special ed school bus. I had resource. I had speech therapy. I had occupational therapy, physical therapy, um, counseling, and adaptive physical education. Every single special ed class I was in, while I was also like gifted in math and stuff. So I was like on the extremes of both ends, which I know is an autistic thing generally, but I think I was both smarter and more um, challenged at the same time than I think most autistics, so I don't know how they possibly could have missed it. Um, but still, I'm glad that children have a lot more support groups and supports that adults that adults still don't have. But it bothers me that there is nothing for adult autistics because there's this services cliff, as it is called, where once you're out of grade school, nobody gives a shit about you, and I want to help the adult autistics. One thing that really bothers me is that there are more support groups for the parents of child autistics, even if they are even if they aren't autistic themselves, than there are for adults. Surely there should be more for adults than for the parents of children, but nobody cares when you are an adult, and that is what I'm looking for. That I think is what I want a support group for people to have each other's back, to talk about shared issues, and to do it in the real world. The thing is, autistic people are addicted to the internet. How do you get them to go off and do something like that? It's what I really want now. It's what I'm really looking for now. I mean, sure, an easy way to meet like autistic or socially awkward people would be joining various real life gaming groups. Sure, I was a competitive Scrabble player. I was a tournament Scrabble player until I quit in 2017. I suppose I could take that back up again and hook up with those people again. It didn't feel like I mean a lot of those people would talk to me. It didn't feel like a lot of them considered me that considered me that close of a friend. It's like I was too white trash for them or something, and I kind of was. These like I was very much a Bernie bro in the stereotypical the stereotypical Scrabble player is somebody who is doing well, has a professional job requiring academic training. Um, while autistic people are certainly overrepresented in Scrabble, along with all other gaming communities, and I did get along with a lot of the autistic people in Scrabble. Most of the players are people who have steady jobs, people who probably don't want to rock the boat too much, probably like your democratic establishment types, and I think I was too trailer trash to really connect there. It's an expensive hobby. It takes a lot of money to have the money to shuttle around to tournaments and stuff, and there was never really much of the way in clubs in Syracuse. So I guess a lot of that are the reasons why I quit. Um, but 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 I suppose I could look for like local, more local gaming groups around here. I mean, I know there's in the village of North Syracuse. I pass by it all the time walking around. There's there's this Dame Games place where they have tabletop gaming events like constantly. I've do I need to cultivate some kind of interest in tabletop gaming like Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering, which I don't actually have, just to socialize with anybody in the real world? It shouldn't have to be like that. And besides, how much socializing are you really doing when you're gaming anyway? What I'm really looking is like some sort of support group, like the equivalent of what AA would be for autistics, and I don't know what even exists. But that's what I would want to start. But right now, I guess I'm getting the social connections I need from visiting my mom in the nursing home at the moment. Um, and I do want to make more videos on here, and I suppose that could be a more pro-social thing to do than a lot of things online, than just reading content. It's better for me to be producing content and having people interact with me than just reading content, which tends to be one of my big vices. Um, I guess I'm getting most of the socialization I want from visiting mom right now, and I guess while I'm at home, just focus on completing my assignments and and going to the bathroom. I'm getting to that point in life where that's becoming a thing I have to think about more. And so even though I kind of want an office job just for the social experience after my mom dies, not until then, because I want to still be there to take care of her, and obviously with my bell issues, maybe it isn't smart to seek an office job even, but because I'm having diarrhea every single day now. Um, but um, yeah, I guess I'm satisfied with my socialization now, and spend the rest of my time working on my assignments and my projects and my uh, and and my blog and my book and stuff. And when I'm really pushing on some kind of an assignment, it's easy for me to escape escape my self-loathing and focus directly on the task at hand. I am great at getting into the zone when I'm entering data, and usually, like when I'm entering the college basketball data, I'm listening to some sort of podcast simultaneously, and both those things combined, I can escape out of my self-loathing, focus on the task at hand, and it's great. It's like the spare moments in between, the moments by myself when I am feeling the deep loneliness, when I don't have something I'm doing. I start freaking out, saying self-loathing, saying self-hating things, and I don't seem to have a great way of stopping it, um, unless, or having intrusive thoughts. I don't seem to have a way of stopping it unless I'm focused on some project. But I'm great at it but like when I'm lying in bed or something. I mean, I guess I don't think I have ADHD. I probably have OCD though, and I probably have like intrusive thoughts OCD and stuff like that, and that's obviously cumbersome. But if I focus on socializing at a nursing home, and if I focus on doing my work and my projects, and maybe creating things um, while at home, I think that's pretty good balance, and I'm starting to recover. I think what I maybe most need is a change of scenery to get out of Syracuse. Now, obviously, I'm going to lose the house because Medicaid is taking because they wouldn't let my mom go home, and because she had no other way of paying for the nursing home except for Medicaid. Medicaid is going to be taking about $15,000 a month from the equity of her house. That when she dies, um, Medicaid is going to reclaim the assets and force me to sell the house at a certain point. I don't know how long after her death that would be, how long that process takes, but I mean, the only ways I could have gotten out of that is if I had gotten a Medicaid trust 5 years before she was institutionalized. Again, I never thought she was going to be institutionalized because she had told me she would rather be dead, and I didn't know that somebody else could force that to happen. But but since that did happen, it's going to be $15,000 a month out of the equity of her house, which means like the whole equity will probably be gone in a little over a year unless she's out. So and I and I am still in default to several creditors, so I don't know if anybody would rent to me, and that's something I've got to get way out of before mom dies, so I will be able to rent something at all. Um, if I had if I had been allowed to be considered an in-home caretaker, which technically I would be since I was living with her and I was there nonstop for over 2 years before she was admitted, I would be theoretically able to apply as an in-home caregiver for the 2 years prior to that and not lose the house. But the thing is, I think my mom would have to verify like what I was doing, and I don't think she has the cognition to do that after her stroke. And also nobody saw what I was doing, so a lot of people would just say I was neglecting her, even though I was doing everything she was asking me to do. I probably wasn't seeing things that needed to be done as much as I should have done and doing them, but I was doing everything she asked me to do. But there was like nobody else around, nobody to prove that, and I would probably need somebody to prove that before it was accepted um for a Medicaid waiver for that. Or if I had been found disabled, um if I had been found disabled and had been eligible to be a disabled adult child or something, if I was collecting disability, then would I would not have to give up the house. That is another possible exemption, but I was just the level where I was not disabled, not disabled enough for disability, but um, too disabled for the steadiest income, and that's just very frustrating. I can see why. I think I was saying this and I forgot to finish my thought. I can see why it is the high functioning autistics, the level 1 autistics, who have the highest rate of depression and self deletion because both you know what you are lacking because you're more in touch with the world, you know what you're lacking more than more severe autistics do, and, and you can see how close you are to potentially being able to succeed and not seeing it, yet you also aren't yet you also aren't disabled enough to be considered disabled by the government or whatever, so you're trapped in that middle ground or whatever. Now I am getting out of it and becoming more employable. I have some potential here again. Um, I even had a pretty big interview with an auto racing team a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to say which team because it was supposed to be private. And I mean, there's still that company that was looking about to possibly make a trailer for a movie out of my book. It's like I've had so many close calls to great successes, and I just keep just missing out on so many of them, and it's frustrating. I am getting out of the I am I am getting out of the hole. I am more employable these days than I was. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to pay for a roof repair, but I guess I'm doing a little better, except for my bells, which are totally out of control. But people wanted an update on the colonoscopy, and I wanted to give an update on the colonoscopy, and at least I don't have colon cancer or ulcerative colitis or Crohn's or any of those things, and that's great. And I guess that was all I had to say, so I'm going to read the questions I skipped over. Do I still practice typing? No, not at all. I am done. Like, okay, I know that there are various YouTubers who collect donations from people during live streams. I mean, if there was something people would want me to do, if there was something people would commission me to do for money on a live stream, then yeah, maybe I'd go back onto typing sites. But I think that would be the only thing that would get me to do it if somebody if somebody paid me on a stream to compete or something. People don't get that. I know it was probably fun for a lot of you. It wasn't really that fun for me. It was a compulsion at the time, kind of, because it was one of the only things I had in my life going for me when I was way unemployed, underemployed throughout the 2010s. But especially the first half of the 2010s when all I had is the sports reference job with like months between assignments sometimes. So I had typing and Scrabble tournaments. That was it. That was all I had going for me in my life. But I wouldn't say that now. I enjoy I enjoy writing way more than I enjoy typing. I'm not going to say I regret typing anymore. I mean, there was a time I would probably say that I wasted too much time typing, that I should have quit years before I did. I'm not going to say that anymore because I'm proud of my book. My book my book was really good. I know it was really good. Except for the end of the final chapter. I think the end of the final chapter was bad. And yes, there are a few things that I there were a few factual errors that I didn't catch. That if I ever make a second edition, which I'm probably not going to, I would correct those. But I like I like writing, and I think I want to get off almost all platforms except my Substack and my YouTube, and I think I want those to just be my only platforms. I like briefly had an Instagram account that I never put any pictures on, and then I deactivated it. I finally, like for the last time, deactivated my Facebook, but I kept Messenger. I deactivated my Sean Rona Twitter account, and it went away totally. And then I deactivated another one. I do have a Blue Sky account, but I deactivate that half the time too. I think I want to just make this and Substack my platforms. It'd be cool if I could integrate them together sometimes. I know I really should be making auto racing content here because that's all I want to talk about now. I don't know who would care about the auto racing content. I mean, is it worth it to make an auto racing video that's only going to get 200 views? I don't know that it is worth it. I mean, I get like 50 views, I'd say, from most of my racing columns on Substack as it is. Um, but yeah, I want to make more videos. I want to start going through all my home videos again, and I think I want to um, get off pretty soon. But I'll answer people's questions. Oh, do I still practice typing? Oh, that was the only other question. Okay. Um, yeah, I do think I want to get out of Syracuse after my mom dies. If I'm gonna lose the house anyway, take take the money from my mom's 3 life insurance policies and and whatever from auctioning off my mom's stuff that I'm not gonna want to keep. I'm not gonna want her to keep her clothes or her jewelry or a lot of her knickknacks and stuff. Some of that might be worth something. Just take the money from the life insurance and whatever I get from an auction, downscale down way. Like there's that meme about that that meme with the chair and the television. I don't know. Yeah, this. I mean, this is not exactly how I want to live. And it would be a computer instead of a television. It's not exactly how I want to live, but maybe probably closer to that than to my mom's hoarding is how I would want to live. Um and yeah, I think after my mom dies, I want to go for it. I want to move to an auto racing place. I want to move to either Indianapolis or Charlotte. Try and see if I can get a job either connected with the IndyCar industry in Indianapolis or the NASCAR industry in Charlotte. I know my dad would tell me that's really stupid because that I probably couldn't afford those places that I should stay where I am where it's like cheaper. But if I am dying for community and like racing is the only thing I want to talk about right now for the most part, although I'm only really doing it on my Substack and in the Discord I'm in, but I want to see what opportunities they are. I mean, I already interviewed with a very high up guy at General Motors at the end of 2022 in Charlotte, and I interviewed with a guy who runs an IndyCar team a couple of weeks ago. There is interest in my models, and I wonder if I might have a better shot at getting a serious job in Indianapolis or in Charlotte than in Syracuse. So I think I should go for it, and especially I'd probably more easily find connections to socialize with too if I went to one of the places that are the headquarters for my various passions. So I think one of those two cities is probably where I want to go. I don't think I want to stay in Syracuse. I moved back here to reconnect with high school classmates, and I had a lot of friends in high school, but I mean, I hardly talk to any of them now, so what's the point of staying in Syracuse? My dad moved to a suburb of Phoenix. My grandfather is still in Syracuse, and he is my only grandparent alive. He he's 93 and he is now about he is now living in assisted living and is about to have to go to a nursing home soon. He can't speak anymore, although he can apparently still sing, which is weird, and he's having trouble eating and stuff. I might see my grandfather one final time if he's still alive when my mom dies before I leave. But yeah, I think I want to leave and move to Indianapolis or Charlotte. I don't know how I'm going to do that when I don't know how to drive and I have no local connections. It is so ironic for me to be like one of the best and most thorough auto racing analysts slash historians in the world, and I still don't know how to drive. I mean, we autists are full of ironies. Well, I guess you could say it's sort of the same thing as like Roger Ebert being the most famous film critic ever, and then all he makes it as a creator are these goofy porn movies. So I guess it could be something like that. But um, is there anything anybody would like to talk about here before I sign off? I wanted to give people some updates, and I guess that was a thorough one. If not, I'll get off at 10. Yeah, I was seeing if I got any comments or anything. All right. Okay, guess not. Good night, and hopefully I will be making content more frequently. May Thank you for just being kidding about that, Moro. Um, yes, cool hearing from you too. Glad I had a few people. Hopefully I can hopefully I can start um convincing myself to at least upload something every week or so, like go through like at least one of my videos a week or so, every week or so on my streams, and maybe then I can start building an audience again and reviving my currently moribund channel. I think the next one I'm going to go with is my video from the year 2002 when I was on Syracuse ABC Channel 9 and was being interviewed about a website I made to find lost pets as an honor society project. It was, I think, the last time I was ever on camera, and that was 23 years ago when I was a junior in high school. I think that'll be my next video. I, since I was talking about months of content here, I probably won't be talking nearly as long afterward, but I think that'll be my next video, and thank you and good night.